Hello, my dear friends, it's Yuri Tvetkov, and today I want to make a new video about the golf statistics, the subject which is which is highly interesting for me, and in my opinion, it's maybe a little bit undervalued for the most of us. Not only for analysis of the strongest players, because we have a lot of statistics and a lot of information about it, but also about that making decisions and building of our strategy to improve our personal results, improve our personal statistics, and to make lower our handicap and to increase quality of our game. So the reason to do this video is the fact that yesterday have finished the Tour Championship and the official FedEx Cup season were finished mostly, and we have seen that the Dustin Johnson, he achieved a huge result, which is highly important for his career because he was a winner of the Tour Championship the first time, and it was only point in his golf career which will need to be achieved for him. And it looks that this season the Dustin have built the the training and this process to be in the good form exactly in the end of the season, because early we can say that he was very strong in the beginning of the season, he was quite strong in the middle of the season, but by the end of the season he was not so highly strong, and in this connection his position in the official FedEx Cup was not so huge. But currently his strategy was highly successful, and certainly he have received advantage in the money, also winning the bonus in the $15 million which he have received yesterday. But our task is mostly the golf statistics, and this connection we will just try to take a look for all the season of the 2020, and we will try to analyze all strongest persons of this season, and try to understand what components of the game were more influensive on this such a huge performance of the best of the golfers in this season. So we will try to start exactly from the Dustin Johnson, because I need to say that he is quite a universal player in the case that he mostly receiving the stroke advantage from the strokes gained from it in total from different components of the game, excluding the strokes gained around the green. He is playing around the green quarter average, and he couldn't receive any advantage from this component of the game. But at first we will try to stay on the most strong components of his game. It's a stroke gains of the tee. He was on the 11th position in this component. Approach to the green, he was in the 17th position of this in this component, but in the end of season he was much more better than his average results, and in the end of the seasons most of his winning and his second places were relative with the very huge approach into the green, and very good long putting also. So he's not so highly strong around the green, and he's quite good in the putting, because in the putting average statistics for the putting around just a second. Just a moment. So putting average, he was on the 3rd position, and it's very good result for him. My idea is that here we are. My idea is that driving distance and driving accuracy percentage are not so highly involving on the result of the golfers if they could not convert this advantage received from the distance, such as driving accuracy, in the greens and regulation. We can see that Dustin Johnson is not so good in driving accuracy percentage, but he's very good in greens and regulations. The idea is that he is very universal, because he can play not only from the fairways but also from the rough to the green, and approaching can make him opportunity to, to receive additional advantage after the tee shots. He's very good in eagles, holes per eagle, just one eagle for 63 holes. He's very good in driving in birdie average, 4.35, and he's very close to these figures in the scoring average also. So what are the strong components? We have understand what are the strong components of his game, but just trying to take a look for his not so good components. And the first of them is scrambling. He have quite average figures in the scrambling, just 60%. It is not well enough to be the this leader during all the season, because to do it he need to have the scrambling approximately 65% and better, such as the Xander fellow, for example. So this component of the game is not his strongest point, and the scrambling from the fringe even more than scrambling and total. And the second component of game, which is not strong for him, is the average size putting. I mean that the distances from 5 feet, just 74%. It's not so good for him. The putting from 6 feet, the average, his average one putt probability is just 68%. It's also not so good. The 7 is not good. 8, 9, 10, it's not so highly good. And we can see that in these components he is not strong. But it's quite a stroke for the longer putting. And in this connection, his average result, the average putting average is highly relative exactly from the putting from the long distances. So the short putting is also not his strong component of the game. What about his competitors? First of all, take a look for the official money list. So, how about the Dutch Dustin Thomas? He is on the first position in the regular season. I mean that excluding those figures which were received during the last tournament. So we can see that Dustin Thomas is not so good in the putting, and other components of his game are much more better. And the approaches to the green is the mere source of his advantage. And he was on the second position in the strokes gained total. And the first on the tee to green. Exactly, tee to green is the strongest component of his game. And approaching is the strongest component, including of the tee to green statistics. But we can say that he is much more better in the around the green than the Dustin Johnson. So around the green, his scrambling is not huge, just 36th position. His proximity is quite good. The sand safe from safe percentage is very good also, but scrambling for the rough is not so strong. So he also have the that windows of opportunities in this component of his game. What about other guys? John Rahm, for example. So we can see that the strongest component of the Rahm is of the tee shots, and his both wrist and that it's just a half swing is highly perfect. Approach around the green is also better than average. The strokes gained around the green are also good, and the putting is also the strong component of his game. So he is also very universal golfer. And the same situation we have seen the Dustin Johnson before and the Collin Morikawa. The Collin is also very good in approaching to the green, and he's playing perfectly off the tee, but he's not long hitter. His average driving distance is less than 300 yards. And he's a young player, and in this connection, those two components, the strokes gained of the tee and strokes gained from approach to the green, are his best parts of his game. Around the green and in the putting, he's not so strong, and in this connection, you see that he also have the very good window of the future opportunities to improve his game exactly in this component. I think that he will be older, his psychology will be stabilized, and he will play he will be much more better in these components of the game. It's quite a usual situation for the young persons. And the Webb Simpson, who is much more experienced, and we will try to take a look for his statistics. And we can see he is not so highly strong off the tee, and he is very close to the average in this component of the game. He is very good in approaching to the green, and this is again a subject to say that the Collin Morikawa and the Webb Simpson technique is not so, that maybe not so golf swing technique, is not so huge, but it's highly efficient, which has given them advantage in the all components of the long game. But the Webb Simpson is much more better around the green and in the putting exactly. And those two components are his very strong part of the game, and thanks to them he was on the fifth position in the official money list of this year. And the last one who we will try to analyze is the Brian Deschamps. Why? Because the Brian is not so universal player. Exactly, the Brian he's very strong. He's the longest hitter in this season in the PGA Tour. He was on the fifth position with the average 322 yards. And thanks to that, his strokes gained from off the tee. He was on the first position also, and he have gained approximately 1 stroke in this component of the game. But we can see that his technique is not so universal to give him advantage also in approaching to the green. So it's powerful swing which is not working so perfectly in approaching. And in this case, his technique could not be recommended maybe for the golfers to try to study it and to that acquiring such a golf skills. He's also not good in the component in the strokes gained around the green, but he's very good in the putting. In this connection, he is not universal, but he have some very strong points which has given him some advantage and have given him chances to be in the good positions in the PGA Tour. And one more. I think that we need to talk about this guy, the Rory Mcilroy. He was on the 8th position, but that it will be interesting to look for his results, because in the middle of the season he started to play much more better around the green, and it was a reason for his winning on the tournaments in the middle of the season. But currently, again, he come to his average statistics, and for example, around the green, he is not so highly strong. He's not so highly strong. And we can see his scrambling is very close to results of the Dustin Johnson. In this case, it's the disadvantage of both of those players. With the probability of the scrambling 66%, they will have. I think that the average score of them will maybe 0.6 points lower than currently. But he has certainly very strong components of the game, and again it's the game from tee to the green. He was on the 6th position in this component, but results in the around the green and in the putting couldn't give him chances to have better plays than he had, because his statistics in the end of the season were less than his average statistics during this season. So the brief summary and the end of this video, which I'm making mostly for myself, and you know that I think that it will be useful for you also. It is necessary to make the acquisition of the golf skills, the golf swings, which is more universal, which is given advantage not only for the off-the-tee shots, but also for approaches to the green. And maybe most important part is approaching to the green, and just after that you need to think about the advantage of the tee. Because when we have a better approach to the green, we will have the better accuracy of the tee shots, and it will give us additional advantage. Certainly some of the golfers and more younger golfers are thinking that they need to play this way, that the first stroke to hit it hard as possible, and after that to play from this position in which the marshals will the caddies will fight his balls. But it seems that it's not working so perfectly, because we see that the Cameron champ is second in the driving distance, but he was not so good in this season at all, because his approaching was very poor, much more poor than of the strongest golfers in the PGA Tour. And the second, what I need to talk about is the putting. We can see the statistic of Dustin Johnson, if we will find that the playing from the distance inside 10 feet is very critical point of the golf skills. And I have seen some of the tournaments in which Dustin Johnson was on the 2nd position, not on the 1st one, and they all were relative with not so good putting from lower than average distances, from distances less than 10 foot. And exactly critical distances are from 5 to 8 feet. So I hope that this video will be useful for you. It will give you some ideas about the golf statistic and how to use it in the daily training and the daily, our games, to improve our pleasure from the game. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope to see you on my channel. Please stay links for the interesting subjects for you, and I hope to see you on my channel again. Have a good game, have a good golf. I love the golf. Thank you. Bye bye.